Reports are swirling around explosive free agency drama involving Kenneth Walker III as the team faces a storm of interest and decisions this offseason. With Walker coming off a breakout performance and earning serious league-wide attention, Seattle's brass is under pressure to either secure a long-term deal or risk losing one of their biggest offensive playmakers. This situation isn't just another contract negotiation, it could reshape the Seahawks' roster strategy and offensive identity for years. Stay tuned as talks heat up and the franchise navigates one of its most consequential early-year decisions. What is going on, Seahawks fans? Today we have a developing situation that could completely reshape the future of the franchise, and it revolves around one of the most explosive playmakers on this roster, running back Kenneth Walker III. The buzz around the league is getting louder, the speculation is heating up, and the big question is starting to hover over the Pacific Northwest like a storm cloud. Are the Seattle Seahawks heading toward a free agency showdown that could shake this team to its core? Let's slow this down and really break it apart, because this is not just about a contract. This is about identity. This is about offensive philosophy. This is about whether Seattle is ready to double down on its ground game or pivot in a completely different direction. Kenneth Walker III has been more than just a running back for this team. Since arriving in Seattle, he has been the spark, the home run threat, the player who can turn a broken play into a highlight reel touchdown. When the offense stalls, when the passing game sputters, when the crowd needs life, it has often been Walker who delivers that jolt. His acceleration through the hole, his ability to bounce runs outside, and his knack for finding the end zone have made him one of the most dangerous backs in the entire National Football League. But here's where things get complicated. Running back contracts in today's NFL landscape are a minefield. We've seen talented backs across the league struggle to secure long-term deals that reflect their impact. Front offices are cautious. Analytics departments are louder than ever. The shelf life of running backs is constantly debated. And when you combine that with salary cap pressures and roster building strategy, you start to see why this situation is far from simple. The Seahawks are at a crossroads. Do they commit significant money to Walker, ensuring he remains the centerpiece of the offense for years to come? Or do they take a more conservative route, possibly letting the market dictate his value and risking the chance that another team swoops in with a massive offer? This is where the tension begins. Walker's production speaks for itself. When healthy, he has consistently delivered explosive plays. Defenses have to respect him. Linebackers cheat toward the line. Safeties creep down into the box. That changes everything for the passing game. Even when he's not touching the ball, his presence alters defensive alignments. That kind of gravity cannot be easily replaced. Yet, injuries have played a role in the conversation. Durability questions always enter the chat when you're negotiating a big deal for a running back. Teams ask tough questions. Can he handle 20-plus touches every week over a 17-game season? Can he maintain that burst 3 or 4 years into a long-term contract? Is it smarter to invest in the offensive line and cycle through younger, cheaper backs? These are the debates happening behind closed doors. From a locker room perspective, losing Walker would send shockwaves. Teammates respect his work ethic. They feed off his energy. There's something contagious about a back who runs with that combination of violence and speed. When he breaks free for a 40-yard touchdown, it lifts the entire sideline. That emotional spark matters more than spreadsheets can measure. From a fan perspective, the thought of him wearing another jersey is almost unthinkable. Seahawks fans have embraced him as the next great back in a city that has seen some special runners over the years. There's a connection there. Jerseys in the stands. Chants in the fourth quarter. Fantasy football owners who proudly drafted him knowing he could explode on any given Sunday. But this is business. If negotiations stall, the free agency market could become a battlefield. Imagine a contender with cap space deciding that Walker is the missing piece. Imagine an offensive-minded coach salivating at the idea of plugging his speed into a high-powered system. The bidding could escalate quickly. And once that happens, Seattle might be forced into a decision that no one wants to make. Another layer to this story is the direction of the offense itself. Are the Seahawks committed to being a run-first team built around explosive ground plays? Or are they evolving toward a more pass-heavy attack that spreads the field and prioritizes receiver depth? Walker's future is directly tied to that philosophical choice. If the front office believes the path to championship contention runs through a dominant ground game, then extending Walker becomes almost mandatory. If they believe the future lies in aerial fireworks and quarterback-centric schemes, they may allocate resources differently. Let's also talk about timing. The longer negotiations drag, the more leverage shifts. If Walker continues to produce at a high level, his price tag rises. If he posts another season filled with long touchdown runs and highlight moments, his representatives will have every reason to push for top-tier money. On the flip side, if injuries or inconsistency creep in, the team gains leverage. It's a delicate dance. There's also the draft factor. The Seahawks, like every team, are constantly scouting the next wave of talent. If they see a deep running back class on the horizon, that could influence their strategy. Drafting a young back on a rookie deal is financially appealing. But replacing Walker's proven explosiveness is easier said than done. Let's not forget the message this sends to the locker room about how the organization rewards its stars. Paying Walker would signal that elite homegrown talent gets taken care of in Seattle. Letting him walk could create uncertainty among other young players who dream of earning that second contract. This situation is explosive not because something has already happened, but because so much could happen. Social media is already buzzing. Analysts are debating his market value. Insiders are hinting at behind-the-scenes conversations. Fans are split. Some argue that you pay your playmakers no matter what. Others insist that investing heavily in a running back is risky in today's NFL economy. The truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. Walker's camp likely believes he deserves to be among the top paid at his position. The team likely wants flexibility and protection against long-term risk. Bridging that gap requires creativity, incentive-based structures, guarantees tied to availability, cap-friendly designs that protect both sides. But even the best negotiations can unravel if emotions enter the picture. If Walker feels undervalued, that could impact morale. If the team feels pressured by public opinion, that could complicate strategy. Both sides have to balance pride with pragmatism. And here's the part that makes this even more intense. The NFC landscape is shifting. Teams are retooling. Contenders are loading up. The margin for error is razor thin. Losing a game-breaker like Walker could mean the difference between sneaking into the playoffs and watching January football from home. Imagine a crucial late-season matchup. Cold weather. Playoff implications on the line. Fourth quarter. You need a spark. Do you want Kenneth Walker III in that backfield, ready to bounce a run outside and silence the crowd? Most fans would answer that question without hesitation. The front office, however, has to weigh that moment against the next 4 or 5 seasons. That's the storm brewing over Seattle right now. It's not loud thunder yet, but you can feel the pressure in the air. One decision could shape the trajectory of this franchise for years. So what happens next? Expect negotiations to intensify as key dates approach. Expect rumors to surface. Expect analysts to dissect every quote from coaches and executives. And expect Walker himself to continue doing what he does best, letting his play on the field speak louder than any contract talk. In the end, this may come down to mutual belief. Does the organization believe Walker is a foundational pillar of their future? And does Walker believe Seattle is where he can achieve his biggest goals, both financially and competitively? Seahawks fans, buckle up. This story is far from over. The explosive talent of Kenneth Walker III has already electrified this city. Now his future is becoming the headline that could define the next era of Seattle football. Drop your thoughts below. Should the Seahawks pay their star running back whatever it takes?